What's up, guys? So this video is going to be a little bit different. Just a kind of an update on a few things that have happened in the last week or so, and then things that are going to be happening here in the near future with the S10 and kind of the way the channel is going. I guess first thing is last Wednesday at 10 a.m. someone drove into the Speedway Motors parking lot and stole my trailer. Broad daylight, business hours, everybody there, nobody saw a thing. Talk about hiding in plain sight. So it wasn't until Thursday morning that I actually realized that the trailer was gone. As mentioned, it was at Speedway Motors where I work. In their parking lot, that's where I stored the trailer. Figured that was going to be the safest place for it because I don't have room in my driveway and I didn't want to pay for storage, and they were cool with me keeping it there. Plus it has a gated property that's locked every night, and figured that was the safest place for it. I really didn't think someone would come in there in the middle of the day and hook onto it and take it. So it did not have a lock on the tongue of it. Should have, hindsight, had a lock on it. But you know, I've had that trailer for 10 or 12 years, and in Utah that just wasn't a problem. I guess you could take the boy out of the small town, but you can't take the small town out of the boy. That's just the way I was used to things. Where I grew up, nobody locked their front doors. Very rarely did people lock their cars. Hell, most people left their keys in their cars. So it just never really, just should have had a lock on it, but I didn't. Thursday morning, I was gonna load up the S10 for a Friday night drag event. So when I got to work Thursday morning, I realized the trailer wasn't there. Called the cops, you know, made a police report and all that stuff. We had some camera footage from the security cameras for it. The guy used like a rented pickup from U-Haul. Camera footage wasn't good enough to get the license plate number or any kind of like identifying numbers off of the truck, so wasn't a whole lot we could do. Plus it'd been almost 24 hours since it was taken before we noticed it. So I haven't heard anything back from him, don't really plan on hearing anything about it. So trailer's gone, and gonna have to save up and get another one here soon. It just kind of sucks because that was like, you know, I was buying back a trailer that I'd had forever. I mean, not really sentimental because it's just a trailer, but still, it's a trailer I had forever, and I had all these plans to fix it up and make it nice, and never got to. So now I'm gonna have to, you know, fork up for a more expensive trailer and put a lock on the tongue this time. Maybe. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm filming right now. How can I help you? Yeah, I'm filming right now. Okay, yeah, lay down. There you go. So, Roxy has joined us for the remaining of this video, or until she decides it's too hot in here for her. But what was I saying? Yeah, gonna have to save up, get another trailer. But that didn't stop me, you know, trailer getting stolen and all that. I decided Friday night, you know, the hell with it. We're just gonna drive this truck to the track, race it, and drive it home. So Friday night I got home, drained the race gas out, put in some pump gas, drove to the track, which is 40 miles one way. Made 3 passes. They teched me in at 11.0, just hounded me on stuff I don't have, like harmonic balancer and a scatter shield over the transmission, which I have the SFI bell housing, but I've never been told I needed like the shield over the body of the transmission. So he said I didn't have those things, so he teched me in 11.0. So I couldn't really go that fast. I ran my first pass was a 1091 or something like that, and they told me I needed to slow down. It wasn't even a 1091, it was like a 1099. and they told me to slow down. So I was like, well, this isn't going to be any fun. So the next one, I just tried to do some 1/8 mile, you know, practice on 60-foot 1/8 mile, try and get that a little bit faster, and then I let out. Very last run, you know, I tried to crack off a 9 to really piss him off, but only ended up going 10:49. And I had to turn down from the LS Fest tune, so 10:49 was the best I ran that night, and then drove it 40 miles back home and had 0 problems, so that was pretty cool. So as far as plans for the S10 and kind of the future, some of you might remember I've been fighting a transmission leak on this truck for a very long time, coming from the front pump bell housing mating there. The old bell housing was a JW Ultra Bell. If you guys are familiar with that, it uses the front pump bolts to bolt the bell housing on. You cut the original one off and bolt this on using the front pump bolts. And I think it's just been on and off too many times. Now the threads in the case for the front pump bolts are starting to get weak. And when I put this new bell housing on last, there was one bolt that didn't quite want to torque to spec. It kind of did one of them tighter, 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 and then felt like it was getting looser, so I stopped. And when this thing sits for about 3 or 4 days and the torque converter drains, there's a puddle of ATF under the truck. So I got to pull the transmission out and hopefully just helicoil the case for those bolts. Hopefully it's not cracked and I got to replace the whole case. But transmission's definitely got to come out of this thing and figure something out with that leak, because you can't have anything leaking on these trucks. You know, it doesn't leak unless it's been sitting like 3 or 4 days. So it's not like, you know, you go to the track and I'm dripping ATF everywhere. But it just sucks when you come out here and it's got a trail of ATF under it from sitting here for 3 or 4 days. I have been coming out here and starting it every day just to keep that from happening. So transmission's coming out. The last video we scaled the truck and we found out she's a little heavy for what she is. I mean, granted it has a full cage in it. It's still all steel body. There's nothing fiberglass on this truck. And I haven't really done anything as far as weight reduction other than remove the interior, which was already out of the truck when I got it. But gonna play around with the weight a little bit. The weight distribution on the truck's terrible. It's 60% in the front and 40% in the rear. So that's not real great. That explains why the truck's been having a hard time getting traction, leaving on any kind of power. And that's why the 60 foot is garbage on this thing. Can't leave on anything really, anything more than probably 3,600 RPM and like a couple pounds of boost, or otherwise it spins. So we're gonna try and shift some weight around. There's not a whole lot I can do. I could shed some weight in the front by getting rid of this front brake package because it's super heavy. But you know, lightweight discs for these things are fairly expensive, so I probably have to try and sell this disc brake kit first in order to do that. And then I've also been thinking and toying around with moving the radiator to the bed of the truck. Not inside the bed, but underneath somewhere so that it's kind of unseen. But moving the radiator to the back would shift some more weight back there. And then maybe just removing stuff that's not necessarily in the front. Probably gonna be doing the leaf spring sliders in the rear to help weight transfer a little bit better. And then changing up, I need to find a set of Hoosiers for the rear, some slicks for no prep racing, because here in August 7th, there's a shutdown showdown at Wild Horse that I want to go try out. So all of this preparation is kind of for that race, kind of try out the no prep stuff, because that seems to be the most popular right now, where there's actually some competition and events going on. The track stuff, not a whole lot. I don't really know how to get into a whole lot of that stuff and get on the track events. So we're gonna try out the no prep stuff, I think. And then last thing, big change for the S10 is I'm gonna be switching it over to E85. Lately I've just been doing the, race gas at the track, pump gas, driving it around. But we all know race gas gets expensive. It's kind of hard to find. Like if I want to go to the track last minute, there's not really anywhere I can just swing by and grab it. The place I get it from gives me the best deal on it, so I try and go there whenever possible, but they're open the same hours that I work, so it kind of makes it tough to get fuel. If we switch over to E85, it's a little bit easier to get. There's not a whole lot of gas stations here that carry E85, but there's at least a few, and it'll just help keep the street truck, race truck kind of mentality to where I can just run one fuel and be done with it. Also, the E85 is going to help dramatically with intake temp, the intake charge temp. Even though it's carbureted and has some cooling capability of its own there, the E85 has much greater latent heat dissipation. So it's going to drop intake temps dramatically, which is going to give me more power, and more power is always better. But yeah, it's going to stay carbureted just on E85 now. So there's going to be a few changes I got to do inside the carburetor and with the fuel system itself. But all that stuff's going to be coming up soon here on the channel, so stay tuned. I'm going to try and film as much of it as I can. It's also the end of May right now, and going into June here in Arizona, it's starting to get pretty warm out here in the garage. So you guys can't see it, but on the other side of this truck, I actually have a mini split AC unit that I'm getting ready to install in here to help make all that work that I just explained much more comfortable and much more doable here in the summer. I'm pretty excited about that. Worked out a trade deal on that stuff with Mike, the guy that I've been working on his engine for. So big thanks to him for getting that for me. And then gonna get that installed. Gonna do a video on that all by itself. Be kind of a DIY how to AC in your garage video. So watch out for that one. And I'm excited. So as always, guys, thank you for your support. If you haven't yet, go ahead and pick up a t-shirt. Just email me at robbiebgarage.com and drop a comment below if you guys are interested in some more merch, like kind of little stuff like maybe coffee mugs, phone cases, little stuff like that. I need to get on some hats and do some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, leave me a comment on what kind of merchandise you guys would be most interested in, because the merchandise really helps the channel and helps me keep making content for you guys. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end it right here. I know it's just me rambling on for a few minutes while Roxy sits here and passes out on the floor. but yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Like I said, stay tuned, more videos are coming, and I'll see you on the next one.